Hi, welcome to Yahweh's Renaissance Ministry, the current events part of the broadcast. And this is going to be a focus on the war that has just broken out in Israel. And this is, in so many ways, say, the beginning of World War III in the Middle East, and a lot of preliminary wars leading to this event happening, which is, based on my understanding, the largest escalation of the conflict with the Israelis and Palestinians in the last 50 years. But I'm mistaken with that, but that's my understanding. Netanyahu declared war against Hamas. They had a surprise attack at the time of Sukkot, tabernacles in Israel. Of course, they were taken by surprise, the Israelis, but I don't know. I look at it from a number of different angles. I'm not going to speculate at this time. I just want to aware what's happening and shed a little light on looking at the bigger picture of what's happening right now in Israel. Hamas had attacked, I guess, 40 different locations all throughout Israel. Took people, in civilians or soldiers captive. So Hamas is considered a terrorist organization, similar to Hezbollah. So Hamas and Hezbollah, and then they want basically Israel burned to the ground and all Israelis killed, and want their nation restored to them. Their people were put in refugee camps, what have you, when the nation of Israel was declared back in 1948. So there's tension there, and there's always been tension. You can call it a strategy of tension, whatever it may be, but it's pretty serious, very, very serious situation. And upwards of 600 people have already died as a result in a couple of days. And really, Air Force has retaliated to the nth degree, have taken out a huge office building in Gaza Strip, type of headquarters for Hamas. And I'm not trying to be some kind of commentator or newscaster, but this is a very serious situation in Israel, and that's the part of World War III breaking out. Beginning of that happening. It could be so, but maybe it settles down after a week. It has in the past, but it's a pretty serious conflict going on right now. And pray for all the people in Israel and that they're protected, and whatever may be. And based on Albert Pike's World War III prophecy, that'll begin with Israelis and Palestinians. Cornerstone, but breaking out there from worldwide, and a lot of conflicts in the world that could be triggered simultaneously. China, Taiwan, North Korea, South Korea, India, Pakistan, obviously Russia, Ukraine right now. A lot of problems in the world that could escalate tension. So hopefully that doesn't happen, but good time to pray for the people of Israel, and hopefully that things settle down soon, but it doesn't like that's going to happen. So I want to share this clip, basically a newscast by CBS, going to bring people up to speed if they aren't already. Again, this could be the iceberg of a much larger conflict that spreads across the world, starts there. And I always felt that legitimately, if World War III was going to break out, it would necessitate some type of dramatic event similar to maybe the World Trade Center being taken out back in 2001, something like the Dome of the Rock being taken out. That could very easily happen. So if that happens, then all hell would break loose. Legitimately, that would be a problem. It would be a very, very, very serious problem, and I just pray for the people. It's part of prophecy coming in fulfillment, maybe, but I just want to share this clip. And please pray for the people of Israel, that they are protected, and that the Father rises up, Archangel Michael rises up to protect them. That's where we are historically and prophetically speaking from a biblical perspective.
Good evening. We begin tonight with one of America's closest allies attacked and now at war. The scenes this morning across Israel were chaotic, unprecedented, and terrifying. The Palestinian militant group Hamas choosing a Jewish holiday to launch an attack on and into Israel. There was the barrage of rockets into Israel, but also incursions by militants. These were the scenes of Hamas fighters storming across the border, marauding through the streets of Israel. Hamas confirming it has taken an unconfirmed number of hostages, soldiers and civilians dragged from the streets. An Israeli official calling today their 9/11. Israel's response so far has been swift, but only just beginning. They've already leveled entire buildings in Gaza, the territory that's home to Hamas. The death toll is at least 200 people on each side and is expected to rise. Our teams are across the region and here in the U.S. We begin with Raf Sanchez on the ground in Israel.
It looks like a scene from Israel's darkest nightmare. A surprise attack beginning with thousands of rockets, followed by waves of heavily armed Palestinian gunmen pouring out of Gaza and onto the streets of cities and towns across southern Israel. The militants taking whole families hostage, marching them barefoot through their own neighborhoods. And then, cries of triumph as they spirit their captives back to Gaza. This woman, bloodied, zip-tied, and terrified, struggling as she's forced into the back of a captured Israeli military jeep. And here, the body of an Israeli soldier dragged from the turret of a tank and beaten by the mob. Israel's military tonight confirming there are both civilians and soldiers among the captives. Their exact number is unknown. But the army says all options are on the table, including a full-scale ground invasion of Gaza to bring them home. Israel's prime minister telling his people, citizens of Israel, we are at war, not in an operation, but at war. And every hour, the death toll rising, these civilians killed at a bus stop. And in this kibbutz, victims packed into a small room and executed at point-blank range. The surprise attack led by highly trained fighters from Hamas and Islamic Jihad, blasting their way through the security barrier separating Israel from Gaza, in some places using bulldozers to smash through. This unit fighting into the Erez border crossing, the main terminal between Israel and Gaza. Usually tightly controlled by Israeli troops, the crossing today completely overrun by Palestinian fighters. Israel's military caught badly off guard, surging its forces into the south, fighting street by street across more than 20 locations as it tries to regain control.
This is usually one of the busiest highways in southern Israel, and on a holiday weekend you would expect it to be full of cars. Instead, you can see Israeli security forces have set up a checkpoint here. They are searching vehicles as they come by because they do not know where the gunmen are.
The rockets, more than 3,000 in total, coming in wave after relentless wave throughout Shabbat. I was sleeping, she says. My grandson woke me up, telling me, wake up, wake up. Then I heard a boom. Everyone started crying. Israeli jets pounding targets across Gaza. This tower collapsing after a direct strike. And Palestinian hospitals flooded with the dead and wounded, many of them civilians. A war only in its opening hours, and a nightmare the people of the Holy Land can't seem to wake up from.
And Raf joins us now from Israel. Raf, there are fears the death toll will rise tonight.
That's right, Jose. Israel's foreign ministry says at least 200 people were killed in this attack. And inside Gaza, Palestinian officials say more than 230 have died in Israeli airstrikes so far. Those numbers expected to rise as this war continues. Jose.